what's going on? It's Dr. Ganswell Boogie here again for another vinyl record update. And if you're keeping track, this is only my second vinyl record update. And in my last update, I found some awesome records one weekend, so I thought it was worth making a video of. But this one is a little different because these are the records that I actually picked up in like the past month. So it's not just the records that I found out in one day, which pretty much was my last video. These are the records that I picked up throughout the month. And I only usually buy my records at thrift stores. I've bought records at record stores before, but they're really pricey, and online it's even pricier, or just as pricey. So I like to hunt down at thrift stores and see what I can find. So I didn't pay more than $1 or $2 for any of these records, and I think I found some really cool stuff here. So I'm just going to start off with the 45s, or the singles that I found. And first off here, I found a Belinda Carlisle single for her song Mad About You, which this song is from her first solo album, and I love Belinda Carlisle and the Go-Go's. Just, the Go-Go's are a great band, and her solo stuff is a lot more poppy and less punk, of course, but I still love it. I love that type of music, and Belinda Carlisle is just awesome. And her first album, I would say, is probably my favorite, so I thought this was really cool to find, because yeah, I would think I would find a single from her second album, like Heaven on Earth or something like that, but you know, this is cool. And next up, I picked up Berlin, Take My Breath Away, which is an awesome single from Berlin. This is actually from the Top Gun soundtrack, and it's produced by the guy who did the Scarface soundtrack, and then a bunch of other great 80s soundtracks. And Berlin is just a really good, like, new wave synth pop band, and I think this is one of their better songs too. Alright, and last for the singles, I picked this up, which I thought was pretty funny, and that's kind of why I picked it up. But it's the Chipmunks Punk, which this is an 80s record, 1980 actually, and this is got them doing Call Me from Blondie and Refugee from Tom Petty. And this is pretty cool, I think. I've actually never heard this, but I mostly just picked it up because Call Me from Blondie is just one of my favorite songs from Blondie, and I thought it would be funny hearing the Chipmunks version. But it's also cool because it's just like a chipmunk punk album. It's like just random. You wouldn't think this existed, but it does. I think you can get a full LP actually, but if not, then this is still cool. I actually don't know if this is worth anything, but this is the original LP from back in the day, in 1980. So I thought this was really cool. I only paid $1 for this. So next up here is just the records, and I actually found this one at the same place that I found most of my records in my last update. This is another New Order single, and this is for The Perfect Kiss. And I think I missed this one the first time I had gone there, just because it's just like plain silver, and it says Perfect on the front, and then the back is all silver, and it just says Kiss the. So it's like The Perfect Kiss. It's confusing, which is what New Order did. Awesome packaging design. I thought it was cool that they made records that you couldn't really tell like what the band was or anything like that. Very, very cool. Very New Order and Joy Division. But I knew right away when I saw the Quest Records symbol. And then on the spine of this also, it's extremely hard to read. I'm sure it's not going to show up on the camera, but it says New Order, The Perfect Kiss on the spine of this. So this is really cool. It's in like this black sleeve inside, and then the record is just mostly black, just says the name of the song and everything on it, which is really cool. I love New Order records. I just think they look really cool. Same thing with Joy Division. Some of my favorite records to buy and collect and look at. Alright, next up I picked Billy Idol's Rebel Yell, which is really cool. I love Billy Idol. He's got some awesome songs like White Wedding, Eyes Without a Face, stuff like that. And this is, I think, one of his better albums, one of his best albums, because most of his stuff from his early career is just really good. Just a really nice looking record. Billy Idol's records are always packaged real nicely with really good images on the sleeve and everything. That's what the inner sleeve's like. Pretty cool. Just gotta love Billy Idol. Just a fun guy. Seems like he had a lot of fun. And then this is Joan Jett's Bad Reputation on record, which I don't own this on CD, and I think I definitely should pick this one up. But this is a really cool record, and Bad Reputation is a great song. Joan Jett is just awesome, so that's about all I really need to say about this one. I always really like the cover artwork for this album, too. Joan Jett always looking very cool. And then next up here is actually, I picked up some Donna Summer albums. I've been listening to a lot of her early disco stuff that she put out, like Bad Girls and stuff like that. So I saw some of her records at a thrift store, and I figured I would, pick them up. This is She Works Hard for the Money, which is a classic song from her. A really good song, too. It's the full record. Really nice condition, and again, I think Donna Summer just made some great songs in the later 70s. Really good stuff. I think the best out of that late 70s disco era, it inspired like Blondie, the stuff that they were doing at the time, and everything like that. This is a love trilogy, which is cool. And then this one is Four Seasons of Love, which this is the one that came with a calendar with it, which I thought was cool. And her as Marilyn Monroe on the back, I think is really cool too. And then I thought this was cool because came complete with everything, which it came with a calendar, which I thought was really cool. It has more pictures in it. But, I just thought this was cool that it came with everything. And it also came with this really cool, I'll try to get this out, order form from the record company it was from. And you could order, like, shirts, and they have stuff for Parliament on there. I just thought it was really cool that it came with this, and it also came with the envelope to send it. So, again, pretty awesome. I was actually hoping to find the Bad Girls album from her, which is like my favorite LP from her, but I couldn't find that one. But it is a pretty popular album, so I'm sure I'll come across it sometime. And last year I actually have some Diana Ross and the Supremes, which is another band I love. I think out of those 60s groups, I think they're one of the best. And some of their singles were right up there with the Beatles. They had, I think, just as many or even more number one singles than the Beatles in the 60s. And they're just, I think, one of the best groups in the 60s is Diana Ross and the Supremes. And I picked up some records from them, too. This one is the Reflections album, which I think the song Reflections is one of their best. It's one of my favorite songs from the group. This is really cool. The guy at the record store did, I think, charge me like $2 or $3 each for these, just because, they're the Supremes, and I think he thought that they were expensive, which they kind of are, but not that much more expensive than the other records I had. The guy at the thrift store, I meant. And then here is More Hits by the Supremes, which this one I was like really happy to find because it has some of their best songs in it, like Stop in the Name of Love, like some of their biggest hits. But I didn't notice when I was in the record store buying this, but afterwards there's actually a rip at the bottom of this record, which almost just like ruins the whole thing for me, because I like to collect my records in the best condition I can find. Like if it has a rip or the vinyl scratched up, I usually won't buy it unless it's a record that I am really looking for. So I was really disappointed in that. So I'm hoping maybe I can pick up a copy of this in better condition. But overall, it's not in that bad condition other than the rip at the bottom, but still, like I said, it was a big disappointment for me when I got out to my car and realized it was ripped at the bottom because I didn't notice when I was in the store. Alright, and last here for the record update is actually one more Diana Ross and the Supremes album. This is a greatest hits collection. And this is actually a really awesome greatest hits collection. I have this on CD. It's a 2 CD set. And I would say I probably listened to it the most out of all their stuff. And I just think it's a really great collection. This is a 2 LP set, which is in really good condition for being a 2 LP set from the 60s. The inside, I don't want to do anything to the record, but the inside has a little bit of stains in the middle, but that happens a lot when you get older records like this. But one of the coolest things I thought about this record, and it was one of the main reasons I picked it up, is it came with all 3 of the posters of the band, of the group, and I thought that was cool because I know this is hard to come by. I was trying to get these out, but you know, here's the Diana Ross one, and just really cool. You know, I don't want to go through each one just because I want to keep them in good condition as I can, but these are really cool, and I was not expecting to find these also with the record, so I thought that was really cool. So I remember reading about that record came with posters, so when I saw it with the posters I was excited, and I think that was one of the records I paid a little more for too, but probably only like $3-4 at most, so I usually try to get really good deals on these records. But that was the update for this week, and if you guys like these record updates or want to see me do CD updates, because I also buy CDs all the time too, I love collecting CDs, you know, let me know in the comments and I'll start adding some of the CDs I pick up in these record updates too. So again, you know, leave a comment if you like the video or give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.